And we're back. Welcome to day 152 of 301. It's actually good to finally be back and continuing with this project now. There's a few things that have changed since last we picked off. And I'm excited to actually continue with it. Jeez, how long has it actually been? It's been a few days. I've had quite a few other projects to deal with and like clients to deal with and stuff. I've also been trying to recover from a just think like a common cold or something. So it's good to actually finally be back and doing something that I really enjoy, because I've missed this. Yeah, I really have. Yeah, so I need to try and remember where we were and everything. Okay, so this is the server. We have our client folder here. Let's open up a terminal here, and let's start the client up. And then the server should be running. Yeah, there you go. Cool. So the server's running. Just wait for the client to start. Cool, there we go. So the client should be ready to start any moment. And then I should probably check the back end. Probably, I don't know if we'll need the database yet. But let's have a look. Okay. There we go. Cool, so I'm ready with the mail now. We'll be able to test from there. Make sure the client's ready. There comes the client. Cool. So we are ready to begin. Let's check where we left off. The last thing we were busy with was, let's get into the server actually, into auth. Was it auth or was it root? It was a root. Where's our roots? Here it is. So we were getting into confirmation. Oh yeah, I remember now. We're trying to turn this into an async function. Status is, yeah, I remember that, check token. And then let's actually get into check token. So that's token right there. So the plan here was essentially, yeah, I remember now. We had an interval, and we're basically trying to find a token in the database. And if at any point in time the response of that token has a property that is verified, then we can resolve. Otherwise, if the time runs up for the max runtime, because I think we set it to 30 seconds, then we just basically reject. So obviously we have it low now for testing purposes, but we will set that up to 5 minutes. Yeah, I'll have to do some other checks as well. Let's just do improve performance. Don't know how I'm gonna improve it, but that's something we'll check later. For now, let's just get it working. And this does work. It successfully finds a token that's verified. Otherwise, it will reject after that. Actually, we have to check, because I don't think we're... Expected the promised rejection reason to be an error. We could throw... Let's worry about that afterwards. That's something we can always easily add when we're actually at that point. For now, let us just... Let's deal with that promise. The only thing I'm worried about now is this. So this here function, we're resolving inside of it. Is that still in the same scope? I assume it would be. So when it finds one, resolve, token is now verified. Shouldn't we then do await, check, token, token.status? Then it should either be wondering if we need async. Because how else would we know if there was an error or something? I think it might be better to do check token. So after that, check token. Alright, because we don't know what the token is yet, do we? I mean, I could technically do it inside of there, can't I? Check token, token, dot token. Then, response. Check token response. And then we do response. And then we also have a catch error. Check token error. Error. Cool. So then we should be able to know what the response and what the error is for that. And then let us open up our output and our error logs. And then let's do an actual sign up. Was test@bitmono.com. We need to verify that email, so we click that. And essentially, it's basically gonna wait now for 30 seconds. We click the link. It should change. The verified status should become true. There we go. Check it token. Wait, check token response. Hold on. Oh, that was the one. Okay, so check token response. Token is now verified. Cool, but it keeps going. And that's because we didn't stop. So it actually might reject now, I wonder. No, it doesn't reject. It just keeps going. Okay, so we need to also stop the interval if it's found. So we actually need to clear interval. Check interval. Okay. So that should theoretically solve that. Let's go ahead and try that again. Verify. Okay, it's waiting. Is it waiting? Yeah, it's waiting. So then we click on the link. And it's set to true. Check token. Okay, cool. Token is now verified and it stopped the whole set interval. Cool. So that was that. Simple. So now that the token is verified. Oh, let's actually try what happens if we don't verify. Because obviously we need to also test the scenario where it fails. Okay, so now we're not going to click that link. We're just going to wait 30 seconds. So, how's the weather? Yeah, okay, so while that's going, essentially the plan is, if it gets here, the user verified the token. So then we can do things like do a final resolve, so that the form can be like, cool, cool, otherwise reject it here. So that's the last step. And even though this is async, I don't know why I prefer it. I prefer it in this form. There's just something about it, because I know if it succeeded, we go here. Because if I have it in a variable, it's just going to hold the response. And then I would have to either set it to true or false, you know, to check the token. Whereas if I do it in a then, because it's returns a promise, if it resolves, it will be in the then. If there was an error, it will be in the catch. And that system just seems, it just seems appropriate to use it. Like, this is the one place where I'd use the then catch. Whereas async, normally, just get data, it's fine, you know. Like for getting the token in generate token, that's fine. We can use the await here. That's just my, you know, personal preference. Anyway, it should have failed. Check token error. Token not verified in time. Right, yeah, that's true. And then if we do a token not, how do we get it to actually do that though? Oh, if we delete the token while it's busy, I guess. Let's try that. Let's see if that will actually work. I want to obviously do every possible edge case. So what we're gonna have to do is generate a request, and then I'm gonna have to quickly go into the database. Come on. Okay, cool. I'm logged in on the back end now, so let's do this quickly. Actually, let me delete this other token, or a few, because they expire in 15 minutes. Probably delete the token when we're done with it, actually. Oh yeah, that was the point. I made a note there. When it's working, switch it to find one and delete. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is make a request. Let's verify that it's running. Okay, it's running quickly, go, go, go! So we got 30 seconds to delete this token from the database, which should cause it to give us the other error. Go, deleting, and done. So essentially now it should be like, okay. Cool, well this is why we test things, you see? Cannot read property verified of null. Here's a great example why we're testing. So it's gonna keep trying to read. So it's not technically an error. If it's null, it's not an error. Okay, so we need to make sure it's not null. Because if it is, we need to reject as token not found. This error is just something else went wrong. So that will essentially be, if we found the token and the response is verified, token is now verified. Otherwise, there should literally be no other test case. If it can't do that or find that, then token not found. Actually, I just realized now, it's going to constantly be checking for the verified status, and initially it won't be while the user's trying to, find the link and click it. So we can't do this, because immediately, if it's not verified, it's just going to reject it with token not found, which is not the case. we need to specifically check if response, wait. We could do if not response, because it will return null. We can obviously check with that. Actually, it should have been token found response. There. No. So if not response, reject token not found, because that is the only time it will error out. Because prior to then, I was finding it. It's just, you know, verified status was set to false. And actually, that should be the first thing, I think. If not response, token not found. And then if response.verified. So those are the two ifs, and if it doesn't match either of these, it just continues trying over and over. While it can, obviously. Do I just have an empty return here to make my linter happy? Oh, that was weird. Everything turning green like that. Ah, my linter wants a response because I'm returning inside of it. Wait, do I need a return though? I don't think I need a return. I don't think it will continue. We'll have to see, obviously. So if it doesn't find it, it will reject immediately. If it does find it, it will resolve immediately. If there are any errors, we should do if response and response.verified, just to be safe. And if there are any errors, we should just reject. Oh, so this token.find one, where does this actually end? Then catch. Okay, so that's basically this. Oh, because it's inside of a set interval, right? And we're anyway gonna handle that. Then or catch error. Okay, cool. So let's try our test again then. We shouldn't run into that issue that we had. Let's try and see. So verify, go, delete. Wait, let's just check that it's running. Yes, it is running. Okay, let's go ahead and delete the token. And now it should be like, oh no, token not found. Still going. Is it because I didn't return or something? Check token error, undefined. So it did return with the error, but obviously it still keeps going. I think we need to stop the interval. Oh yeah, clear interval, we didn't clear the interval. If not response, clear the interval and then reject with token not found. Oh, but we're not returning, that's why. We just... I think it's that, because it's inside of an if statement. We can double check, but I think it's going to be undefined. I'm positive it's going to be undefined. Okay, go ahead and delete the token. Okay, done. And it still keeps going. I think it's because we didn't return. Yeah, still keeps going. So we are clearing the interval. And we need to return either resolve or reject. Let me just see if it's that. Wait, token response error. Token response error. We don't have that. Oh, we don't. It's getting in here. That's where we need to clear the interval. If it gets in there, then we need to clear the interval and reject. But why'd it keep going? Okay, anyway, let's try one more time. Delete. What happens? At least it stopped now. Token found response null. Token response error. Wait. Token response error. That's here. The error is cannot read property verified of null. But I thought our check would... Wait, which one? Cannot read property verified. The only place we're checking verified is... Oh, I see. It's our log. That's what's causing the error. We're trying to... If response... I'm only gonna log if we have response there. To just prevent that error. Because we're anyway gonna remove the logs. Where's the out? Okay, cool. Start it up again. There we go. Token found response null. Check token error. Token not found. So check token error. And that is now... That's an auth, isn't it? Yeah, check token error. Token not found. Okay, cool. Now let's let it expire. And I'm just gonna be right back. So we should be able to see a response when I get back. Alright, I'm back. Okay, so let's see what happened while I was gone. This should have rejected by itself after 30 seconds. Check token error, token not verified in time. I was about like, what? Where did it all go? It's the last one. It has this token found response. So it did it one more time. Why did it do it one more time? Do you see that? Got to total running time. And then it rejected. And we did clear the interval. If running time greater than or equal to max time, it should clear the interval. And then it does total running time there. And then it rejects. But then why did it go one more time? Because it rejects, it just goes one more time, which is a bit strange. But it's fine. Now let's see if we can get a response from the server to the front end. So we're gonna post and then we need a then. So we also technically need to return a promise. But that was the thing that I had an issue with, that I couldn't return a promise. Oh, you can. There's just something in here that's being weird. And I don't know if it's an async thing. Oh, it is the async thing. Wow, okay. So you can't do an await. Token equal to await. Oh, yeah, and you can't do async like this. Yeah, okay, I see what the issue is. I wonder. Can't we essentially do this? There's token. And we don't need a try catch, do we? We just need a check token. Then response. Otherwise catch the error. And then here we either resolve. And here we reject. So we either resolve or reject. And then in the calling function that initiates this entire post request, I think that would have been in a service. Should be in a service. Should be in a user service. It was a verify email. Yeah, I think it was Verify, yeah, post. Here we go. Then. There we go. So we got a resolve reject. Oh boy. Okay, so first let's get it to resolve. Let's go to our console. And we are going to set test@dipmono.com, verify email. Okay, and now let's quickly go verify. Okay, I clicked the link. Your email is not verified. Wait, what? Wait, was that when I clicked it? That's weird. What happened? Token is now verified. Verified status true. Verified. Huh? Nani? So confusing. Was that the check token? Sorry. Check token response. Token is now verified. Resolve. Return new promise resolve rechecked. Resolve. So why did it? Your email is not verified. So confused right now. Verify email is the function. Catch an error. Your emails. Oh, so that apparently there was an error. Let's log the error. I'd love to see this. Let's figure out what the error is. Was that actually happening while I was still trying to verify, I wonder? There we go. Verify. Okay. We go verify now. Is it still fine? Yeah, it's still fine. It's waiting. Okay. I click the link. The moment I click it. Oh, timeout. Okay, there was a timeout. I think I took too long. But let's verify like super. Oh, I'm not gonna do it in time, am I? Speedy Gonzalez. That was longer than 10 seconds. No, it's still timed out. At least we know what the issue is now. So I'm gonna set the timeout to 30,000. 30 seconds. Just while we're testing this. Because I forgot I had that. And then click the token. There we go, token's clicked. Server not gonna respond now. Huh. So it seems the issue is with the server not responding. Or maybe I can't resolve like that. Like, let's check our log. Token is now verified, so it should have. I'm being a dum-dum. Len, hey! How are you? Look at me, Len. I'm trying to return a promise from a server to a client. I forgot you have to do res.send and stuff. Have you resolved? Have you worked with promises, like from server to client? I don't think I would use an actual promise, would I? It would just be basically res.status 200 or res.status 4, well, whatever the error code is. I'm good, yeah, it's good to finally be back. I've missed this. I made quite a bit of progress already today. I finally got the token verification system nailed down. But I think I know what the issue is. I can't return a promise. I need to return a response. So just ignore me being the silly little person that I am right now. And let's pretend that that never happened. Basically, we need to do res.status res dot status 200 dot send all good. Otherwise, if there's an error, something like res dot status, I don't know, 500 for now. Something went wrong. Cool. Just got home from school. Nice. And how has that been? Now that you're like finally into the swing of things, are you still enjoying it? Okay, so in theory this should work, but when has my theory ever worked, right? There we go. Click verify email. Now we wait. Now we go to the email. We quickly rush there. We click the token. Token is clicked. Server should respond. Your email is verified. Yay! Wow, that actually worked. Surprisingly. I'm still like, I had to wrap my mind around, you know, I'm used to promises, client side, but obviously it's a server. You just respond with the status code or something, you know? That's generally how they work. Now let's go look at HTTP status codes. We need something that's relevant for basically the request timed out. Or just a vague error. It's not an internal server error. It's just, there's a network read timeout. No. Network connect timeout error. Gateway timeout. No. Client error. Well, it was technically a client error, wasn't it? Because the client didn't click the link in time. Not acceptable. No. Add request. No. Unauthorized. You weren't really. Request timeout. The client did not produce a request within the time that the server was prepared to wait. Oh, here we go. 408 request timeout. That sounds good, right? We just send a 408 back. 408.send. But we kind of, oh, you know what we should do? In the catch of the error, when we reject, we need to reject with my custom user response. Because then the single point of error will already contain the right status code. Because we want to kind of be specific, you know. So let us implement that. Let's get user out here. So first we're going to need user response. And then we need to use user response. It looks like this. Okay, so when we get into an error, such as here, token not found, instead of rejecting, I mean, we can reject, can't we? How was I doing it before? Service validate user. What was I doing before? Oh, I did a throw. Throw new. Okay, so we just throw. Right. So instead of rejecting, we just throw. Cool. So throw new user response. Token not found. The token has either expired for the URL is invalid. The token is either expired or the URL is invalid. There we go. Token not found. And then what would the error code be? Is that a client error? Because we know we're going to use 4.8 for the timeout. Is it a 404? Not found? Yeah, because it's not found, right? That's literally what it is, a 404. Token not found. There you go. So much better. What if I need to resolve with something that's not an error? Return new. Could resolve with it, couldn't I? Can I do that? Alright, there we go. And the message before was token verified. And that is a 200? Or is there a specific 200 we can use? 200, okay. Yeah, just 200. 200 accepted? No, 200 is fine. The email address has now been... Cool. And if it's not verified in time, we need to throw... Or I can just reject inside of it. Let's do something like this. Throw new user response. Token expired. It's not expired. What did I say earlier? It was a 4.8. Oh, token timeout. The user did not verify the token in time. Token timeout 4.8. So that's going to throw the error. We still need to reject. But where do we have a catch here? Could wrap this all into a try catch. because this is all isolated to itself. And by the way, this needs to reject the the error. We actually need to check if type of where did I do that? There. So if error, instance of user response, return, well, we can reject the error. Otherwise, we need to reject with this. Or we can just check the error here. If error type of user response, send it back. But ideally we would want it just done in the single place it handles all this. So how can we deal with this? So if this error is an instance of user response, reject with the error. But how was I doing this without resolving before? Because it wasn't based on a promise, that's why. It didn't have to be a promise. So if error instance of user response, reject with the error. Otherwise, we need to reject with the generic one. And it's not gonna like returning, it's not gonna like me doing this, basically. Oh, it's weird, it's actually not complaining now. Wait, maybe it is. Huh? It's not complaining? What? That's so weird. Earlier it was complaining, it's like, no, but you need to return a... Huh. So if I have it like this, then it'll be like, expected the promise rejection reason to be an error. Oh, okay, so if I do it like this, then it's fine. Huh, okay. If error, return, otherwise return that. Then user response, there was an error checking the token. Let's do something like token verification failure. There was an error checking the token. There was an unknown error. I wonder if we can just do an unknown error occurred checking while an unknown error occurred while checking the token. Yeah. So an unknown error occurred while checking the token. Token verification failure. So if the error instance of a user response, we reject with that user response because we already created it. But if it's an unknown error, you know, like cannot check null or whatever, instead of returning that, we will return our own custom error of just an unknown error code while checking the token, which will have a status code of 500. So that's fine. Also, I was throwing this. Oh yeah, so it will reject with that error. Okay, cool. And then when we were resolving with, okay, cool, that's fine. Then the only thing left to do is, if I throw here, oh, yeah, never mind. We specifically said we don't need to do that because it wasn't complaining. So we can literally just reject with, there you go. Okay, so that should return a user response. And then that will have specific fields for us, which is description, label, status. So much easier to work with. Status is response.status, if I remember correctly, because it's .status, yeah. And then send response.label. Response.status, response.status, .send, response.label. Catch error. Alright, error. Oh, it expects JSON, by the way. Don't forget that. That's why we messed up last time. Okay, .send. We turn it to .json, which is response.label, and that's label, and the description is response.description. And then let's do the same for this, which is error.label and error.description. Perfect. Now we should get a proper response from the server. So we test it out. There we go, it's waiting. Let's go to our email. Let's click it. There we go. Oh, but we're not logging. I want to log what the response actually is from user service, because it just says your email is verified. We stick response there, and then log response, and also response data, because if I remember correctly, it's response.data. The error, your email, the error data, error.data. Cool. Now we're ready. Okay, hit verify. Here we go. There you go. Your email is verified. We got a 200 response back. Data. Token verified. The email address has now been verified. Look at that. Ah, beautiful stuff. Then we also need to get it to reject. Basically wait 30 seconds. I just realized something. Our Axios timeout is also 30 seconds. So I don't know if it will... I don't know if Axios will time out first or if the server will... Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. But there we are. Essentially it's working. And now based on that response, we can change the form the way we wanted to change it. Okay, so Axios timed out before the server timed out. The easiest thing that we can do here is let us change max time to 10 seconds. Now we only have 10 seconds to verify. Because then, you know, don't have to wait too long, and then we'll see it. Any moment now. Come on. There we go. Request failed with status code 48. So we got a 4.8, but aren't we responding with JSON data? That's the part that's confusing. Rest.status, that's the code, and then JSON. But for some reason with Axios, when you reject, it loses the data. I don't know how, but it does. Or is it error.response? I could be wrong. I actually think it's error.response. Or is it status? Actually, let's try them all. Because one of these is the one. I had that issue the last time. My host is probably going to be like, what the fuck? It's be like 100 test emails. Spam. Okay, there you go. Yeah, there's the error response. There we go. And it has data in there. There you go. So you just have to do response to get the reason. Okay, so dot response. So it's in status. The error, wait, it's in the error response. So let's look at the error response. So error.response.data. So if error.response if error.response.data, or just if error.response, then we want to reject, actually return reject error.response.data data dot label. So error.response.data.label. I think that should be it. Otherwise, just reject with or just reject, I think. There you go. Label token timeout. We can actually specify the reason why it failed. As in like the token timed out, etc. And that is in the action. So if we go to actions, user, verify email, catch any errors, dispatch failure, we need to do the same as in the reason why it failed. I think there was a reason somewhere. Didn't we have reason? Or was it in system? We had status there. Actually, alert had it. Reason. What is let's look at our Redux store. Alert error. What is reason? Reason, user login failure. I swear we had a reason somewhere before. But essentially what I want is when it says failed, user verify email failure, I want it to have a reason. Oh, but that's if we're actually going to display it. Okay, give me a second, I'll be right back, guys. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm back. I just sort something out real quick. Do I need the reason? We could show an alert, couldn't we? I wonder, is that something worth... Would we show an alert for that? You know, like, hey. No, I don't think that's something we need an alert for. But it's definitely something... Authentication. It could be sign up. Could we add it to a user? Sign up? No? Maybe we don't need it as a reason. But under the action... It was either dispatch failure. If there was an error, send the failure action. Okay, so we can read these things, failure and success. That we can read. So essentially when you sign up, you click verify email, the button goes away. It only appears when there's an error. And if there's an error, we need to set an error state on email. Which is basically what? Can we have a vague enough thing? Do we need to specify? Can it be something like you didn't verify in time? Could it be? It could be like a server error though. You wouldn't really know what the reason is. So we kind of need to get that from state. We could have a sign up under system, couldn't we? Or registration. In that case, we do need status. So let's just give it status. What's failure type? Login failure. Oh, failure.type, right. And then a user.login error. So a type, so that will usually be a type. Okay, so dispatch failure. And then under the reducer for system, we do action.type, and if it creates success, then we can do things like that. Action.status, right? Otherwise we would have action dot whatever it is, action.type. Let's add status to it. Status would be, we need a system constant, but not that system, the server system. Like this, server response. So the error needs to dispatch failure, passing in error to it, and then failure needs to turn it into an arrow function which takes in status, and it returns an object. How did I do that before? Failure, not a function. Didn't I have it in user action at all, ever? No? Okay, here you go. Return type, and then the username. As long as we have type and then the failure basically comes from verify email. Verify email will basically reject if error.response or you could just have it as status. Status, and then status. We actually need to return this as an object though. Isn't this type? Yeah, this is type. Don't know where type went. So type user action.verify email failure, and then the status. Status is going to have that message. That's essentially what we want to do. Error.response.data.label. and that can be based on the system. Do we have system here? Star as system from constants system. And then over here, what was the error that we were getting? It was like token expired, I think. Token not found, token verified, token verification. No, it was token timeout. Let the first one be token timeout. The token timeout. If system dot server response dot if not system dot server response token timeout. Well, actually, let's do it like this. Response equal to system dot server response dot token timeout. If it exists, then just put that in. Else, no, it needs to be system.server.response.status. Status being that can we do it that way? I can't remember. When we access an object, was it like this? That you do that? Or was it like this? The ES6 version? There's a way of doing this with a variable. I think it was this third option. Something foo. Okay, so just like that. So then why didn't this work? Was it erroring because of this? That's strange. Alright. Otherwise, we need a generic error. Just do An unknown error has occurred. Man. System dot server response dot generic. There. So response is either system dot server response and then based on what status is. And if that does exist, if we actually have a key with that value, then it actually needs to be this. If that exists, then stick that in. Oops. System.server response status. Otherwise, system server response generic, because we don't know what the reason is. And then status is response. Is response going to be an object now? No, it's not. It's just going to be a string. Okay. So that should theoretically be it. Dispatch failure and pass it the we pass it the status or the error? Catch error? No, that's fine. As long as we're returning that error now. So in the user server, if error.response, reject error.response.data.label. We need that. And if not, return an error, and if that doesn't exist, obviously we'll just have a generic error. Cool. So theoretically that should be working right now. All we would need to do is in the reducer, pick up that it's not a system action, it is a user action. So case user action constant dot register failure. What do we do? We will then log I want to know the reason. Action dot status, I think it was. The status is what we're passing in. And then can I just return state just as it is until we figure it out? Cool, so that should theoretically be it now. Man, what a mission. Go sign up. Let's make sure there's nothing in our state right now. Nope, nothing. Actually, we're not even going to see anything. It's only going to be in our console log within 10 seconds when it fails. So then, under system, okay, there we go, it failed, and we should have a console log. There's the action, there's status, the token is timed out. So the type is user verify email failure. That's register. Oh my god, it's the wrong one. Wait, but where is user? Where's user verify email failure? Okay, where are the constants? Let's check this. It's not an alert, we know that. System, it's not a system, it is... It's verify email. Verify email. Okay. Where's the reducer? Verify email failure. That's the one we want. We want action.status. Also, while we're at it, I want to set the timeout now to be 5 seconds. I don't want to wait so long. Cool. So my poor email address. In 5 seconds we'll get a response. We should see the reason here. There we go. Verify email failure. The token has timed out. Beautiful. So I want that in state now. I said I want it under system. So under the reducer, I want to return state, but I also want to return, what is it called? Registration. Status. Error. Action. User action constant dot verify email failure and reason action dot status. There we go. So that should return state and then add registration to it with the status of the registration. Okay, let's go. There we go. Registration. Status. Error. User verify email failure. Reason. The token has timed out. Perfect. User verify email failure. Or it could just be the token has timed out. Or it could just be error true, error false. Do we need to know user verify email failure? Did we ever use that? I don't think we did. Just failed true. For registration we can just do error true or error false. And then a reason. So maybe we should just do no status, just error, true, and reason, action.status. That should be a bit neater. That should be way neater. So if we go test that now, registration, error, true. Reason, the token has timed out. Or is it under user? I wonder. Or is it a system? Because you are registering under the system. No, but it might store stuff. So no, it's fine. We keep it under system. Registration, error, true. Reason, the token has timed out. And now let's try the other thing to see if it works. Which is now verify, then we go to the database and we delete the token. No idea which token it's going to be. I assume the latest one. Is that it? So many tokens. Delete them all. I don't know if I did it in time. An unknown error has occurred. Oh, that's cool because it responded and we don't have we don't know what it is exactly. Oh, it was a timeout of 30 seconds. Okay, cool, that's great. Let's try that again. And then I'm going to delete the token. It should still be an unknown error has occurred. Yeah, there you go. Token not found. So we need to create token not found. Otherwise it's going to say an unknown error has occurred. So let's go to constants. Token not found. Token not found. What did I say for the error? Yeah, I'll go with that for now. The token has either expired or the URL is invalid. And that's going to be the message we show to the user. That's why we want it different. Let's go delete that token quick. Now we should see that message in state. There you go. The token has either expired or the URL is invalid. Error state set to true. Great. And if there's no error, that's based on the, not the service, the action. So dispatch success. Success will basically be give it response and then take response from it. And then success needs to turn into a we need to return an object. And then response will basically be the same as this. status response. Response equal to system dot server response status. System server response status or system server response. Yeah, we need to change the constant because I just realized generic doesn't specify error. Let's just do generic error and generic success. No, why don't I just do error? Server response. Just unknown error and unknown success. Yeah. Just do unknown error. So unknown error or unknown success. No idea why. That's an unknown success. This one is an unknown error. And then it should respond that everything's okay, if I remember correctly. It should respond with, yeah, token verified. So we need token verified. The token has been verified. So if there's token verified, then all is well. Yeah, cool. So if there's a success. And then does success actually resolve with the success? No, it doesn't. If response.data, so if response.data exists, then we need to return resolve response.data.label. Otherwise, we return resolve. Just return resolve. Cool. Now let's go actually verified and see if we get the response. Oh no, there's one more step. In the reducer, that's verify email failure. What if we have a success? Then verify email success. Return state, registration. Error, set to false. Or just no error. I wonder if I should change this to status instead. There we go. We're good to test. Verify, and then let's quickly run on over to our email for the 100th time. Jeez, 2,500 mails. There we go. Verify email success. That was fast. Registration status. The token has been verified. Is there a key that I need to specify? Because we had error set to true. And I'm worried about saying if not error, because that could also exist if just, registration doesn't exist. So then we need to destructure registration.status to show that error in here as the action reducer. So let's go to sign up. Where would that be now actually? It's not an auth menu, it's not an app or user. App bar, no, where would I put it? Oh, here we go, sign up. So that was, we need to destructure. State.alert. And we need status. State dot system dot registration MNOPQR status. Well, actually, maybe not status. Maybe we should have it set to state.system registration. Let's just get registration out of there. And then you'll see now why I do that. take registration, because then we can also watch it with use effect. We need to watch registration dot error. There was a registration error, then we can do registration dot error. Let's try that out now. I don't know if that's gonna work, but we need to try something, and then let's set this to 5 seconds again. Actually 2 seconds. I don't want to wait that long. So registration is undefined. Really? Where's sign up? But registration is there from props. So why can't I do? Maybe I can't watch it like that. Let's find out. No, it's still the same issue. What? Registration is undefined. On line 95, registration is undefined. So we got it from props in sign up form. State.system. Did we not call it that in the reducer? Yeah, registration. So state.system. So registration out of state.system. Oh, because it's undefined initially. We are passing it to sign up form. And initially that's going to be undefined. And that was the error, right? If registration, maybe that. I'm trying so many new things today. Okay, that seems to be fine. Okay, so it's just that. That's what I was complaining about. Okay, so let's have it fail. And we should immediately get a response back with state changed. There was a registration error. There we go. Okay. If registration and registration.error, then we need to set error email message to, now you guys see why I'm doing this, error email message. Wait, I have to set values, don't I? Dot values, error email message will be set to registration dot status. Okay. We should also set error email, which is a boolean. I think we need to set it to true. Okay, so that should now show us the reason why we failed. So making progress with the errors. So you're gonna go boom, and it's gonna say the token has timed out. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah. That's what we want. And then it'll be like, please try again, and then this will appear again when you click it. So when you click verify email, it should remove that. So the next thing that needs to happen now is when you click verify email, it needs to be hidden. It needs to be based on state, essentially. That button must only show. So you know what we can do? Not system, but authentication. By default, authenticating is set to true. What we need to do is under the request, we need a request here, which is essentially verify email. Was it request? Yeah. And essentially what we want to do is set verifying to true. And there's not going to be an action. It's just going to be verifying. And if there was an error, and set verified to false. And we can set after it's successful, we need to set verified to true. Yeah, there we go. And then in sign up, where we did all these changes, we need registration from state.system. And here at the top, registration dot verified. If registration and registration dot and not registration dot verified, error email true, error email message, registration dot status. Wait, is that correct? If registration and not registration dot verified. The registration should exist, but it might produce an error immediately. Like literally immediately. I think that's what might happen right now. Like I'll click it and immediately there'll be an error. Oh no, there isn't. Okay, let's check Redux. Email request. Verifying was set to true. Verified was set to false status. There we go. Registration verified is false. The token has timed out. Okay, so while verifying, So we need verifying. We could have show verify email. By default, it can be set to true. So where are we? Where's the button? Down here. Verify email. Button. Where's the button? Verify email. Values.email and values.show verify email. Why does that show as yellow now? Oh, because we probably need to do this. So values.email and values.show verify email. Unexpected token. What do you mean? Did I mess something up? Okay, there you go. So values.email and values.show verify email. Then it will show. Okay, and then we need another use state now, which is basically watching if it's still registering. If registration and registration dot verifying, then we need to set values of show verify email to false. There we go. So it should come back afterwards, if I'm not mistaken. Let's try that now. Okay, so it should fail, it should hide. The token has timed out. Okay, but then come back. Oh, here. I think here we can set it. Show, verify email, set it back to true. So that we can see it again. There we go. So test at bitmono.com, verify email, it hides it, and then I'll come back. The token has timed out. Can we also change that message to please try again? Where's our constant? It appears you didn't. The token was not. What do you call it when you try to? The token was not verified in time. Please try again. Okay. And then if verified, then we'll display that tick box. Same as the other one. For the username. There's a part for the email. Here it is. I hit it before. So if values dot if values dot valid email, then we will show the tick. So we need values dot valid email, and by default that's going to be false. Okay, and then what happens is on registration, if registration and registration dot verified. So if you are verified now, then set values what was it? Valid email to true. There. So if registration and registration dot verified, set values valid email to true. Then you'll see the tick mark. Okay, so let's try that. Oh, but we're gonna have to go to auth now and change this back to 30 seconds. Test at deadmono.com. Verify. Now we've got 30 seconds to do this. I'm gonna click the link. There we go. Click the link. Wow, that actually worked. Man, this is coming along nicely. Verified true. The token has been verified. Cool. So that worked. Wowee. Change reducer to have section for each verification from server. Username, email, password, etc. Because right now it's just one specific one. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to do. Cool. So that's something we're gonna do tomorrow. I'm gonna end things off here for now because I'm really happy with the way things went. Yeah, it's basically going really smooth. We'll just have to make a few changes here and there tomorrow, but essentially we're done. Our system works. Yeah, let's check again. When there's an error, it hides it, and then it shows it. The token was not verified in time. Please try again. We try it again. Oh, the error needs to remove when we click verify email, by the way. Let's just do that, and then we can be done. So if verifying, if registration and not registration dot verified, if registration and registration dot verifying, show verify email false, and we should also set the errors. We should set these things to false and whoops, false and nothing. So then that way we get rid of the message when we click. Cool, and then click again. Oh, why is it in an error state, I wonder? It's just by default in an error state. Just while it's verifying. It's probably this actually. This is probably what's causing it to be in an error state. Let's try test at bitmono.com. Now it shouldn't be in an error state. Yeah, there we go. And now it's in an error state, and if we click again, it's not in an error state. Cool, perfect. There we go. I'm gonna add a reminder. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna be off. This has been super fun. I can't wait to finish this off. This is exciting, just building the system from scratch and, you know, having the possibility of reusing that in a future project. It's super exciting. I can't wait to continue. But until then, I'm gonna have to love and leave you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.